Okay, so for this lesson, we're going to talk about the slope and rate of change. Rate of change is basically a proportion. Slope is a proportion as well. All right, it's a ratio, basically a ratio of one thing over the other, right? And the ratio is described right here. So you see it here: change in y divided by change in x's. That's the ratio that we are looking for. All right. So if I'm saying proportion, means there is a fraction. All right. Okay. So how are you gonna see me using this, the change in y is divided by change of x? You might see it like the variable delta y divided by delta x. Certain books, they use this notation. So delta, it means changes in x and changes in y. What you're gonna be seeing me doing is I'm gonna be using these arrows, rise over run. So the rise is an arrow going up, the run is going to be an arrow going always to the right side. If it happens, I am not going up, I'm going down, so I'm going to factor a minus sign in there. That's it. If I'm not going to the right, I'm going to the left, I'm going to factor another minus sign. So every time I go to the opposite direction, I will factor out a minus sign in there. Does it make sense? All right, so the famous formula of your slope is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? So this is the famous formula. So what is x1, y1? They are literally 2 points, right? So one point having x2, y2, another point having x1, y1, right? Okay, so let's go in deep in this. So you see here, if I do y2 minus y1, if I do the change in y's, which is a vertical change, right? So this is gonna be called my delta y. That's the change in the y's, all right? So that's gonna be the rise, by the way, right? So this is how much you're going up. And you can do the same thing for this. So if you're gonna do x2 minus x1, so by the way, this is x2 minus x1. And that obviously is the run, right? Horizontally, right? So this is your delta x, and this is basically your run, how much you're running, right? And if you divide these two proportions, these two numbers by each other, obviously you're gonna get this formula, which is y2 minus y1, this is the rise, and x2 minus x1, that's run, and that's gonna form your slope formula. Okay? So it is the same formula that you learned before, just a little reminder about this. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna apply the slope formula for these 2 points. So you can pick any one of them is x1, y1. So I could use this x1, y1 and this one x2, y2. I could use as well this one x1, y1 and this one x2, y2. It doesn't really matter. The answer, the final answer will become the same. We are okay with this, right? So let's start with the slope formula here. M is going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So if I want to plug it in, so I'm going to follow the first one, the first setup. It's going to be minus 3. That's y2, right? Minus 3 here. Minus, this minus sign, let me put it in highlight. This is belong to the formula. So this is what I have it here, right? So it's already there. And y1 is this one here, minus 5. So far so good. Now for the other one, x2 is going to be a 2. Minus sign again, this belongs to the formula. And this one is x1, which is minus 1. Because there is a minus minus, I put a parenthesis there, right? So far so good. Minus 3 minus 5, what is it? Okay, so I'm going to do a review about this, right? This is going to be negative 8. 2 minus minus 1, what is it? 3. And this is going to be minus 8 over 3. So far, so good? Now I'm going to do it with the systematic way to do it. So again, pretend you don't know the formula. So what is the systematic way? Is one way you do it without remembering the formula somehow, right? So what you can do, you just have to remember the steps though. So what you can do, you just have to write the points one under the other. So I'm gonna write minus 1 here, comma 5, and the other one is gonna be 2, comma minus 3. So those are the 2 points. We are okay with this? So what you're gonna do right now, you're gonna go to the second line and flip the signs. So whenever I flip the signs, instead of minus 3, what are they gonna become? Plus 3, right? Instead of plus 2, what's it become? Minus 2. So now I add them up vertically. I add the numbers as they are vertically. So what I see minus 1, minus 2. What is minus 1 and minus 2? Minus 3, right? And what else I see here as well? On the next one, positive 5 and positive 3. What is positive 5 and positive 3? 8. Do you remember the slope? What is it? Is it the x over the y or the y over the x's? So now, which one of them is the x's, which one of them is the y's? Always x here and y here, right? So this is my changes in the y's, this is my changes in the x's. Does it make sense? So which one is gonna go on the top, which one is gonna go on the bottom? Very good. The 8 is gonna go over minus 3. And that's your slope again. So do you see what's the difference here? I did not remember the formula, but I remembered to flip the signs, add them up, and put the y's over the x. Does it make sense? All right, let's do this. All right, so if I want to do the systematic formula right away, you see the negative signs, I have one accumulated signs negative, right? So what I do here, x and y's, I'm gonna put 2 and 4 here, minus 1, minus 2 here, and then switch the signs. This is positive, add them up together. This is gonna be 6, this is 3, and the m is gonna be over the y's over the x's, which is gonna be 2. We good? How do you do to the formula? M is gonna be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I can call x1 y1, x2 y2, and then plug it in. This is gonna be 4 minus 2 divided by 2 minus 1, and this is going to be 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So 2, what is the rise, what is the run? What the rise, what the run? I don't have 6, I have 2. 2 over 1, very good. Our there is a 1 there. So your rise is 2 and the run is 1. Okay, so this is the equation, guys, right? So what we got here is y equals to 3 over 4 x plus 6. We good? Now my formula is y equals to mx plus b, right? Can you make the identification? Can you identify which and which? Yes, right? I think it's clear that the 6 is B and the M is this one, right? The M is the next to this, right? So we can write M equals to 3 over 4, and the B, which is the y-intercept, equals to plus 6, right? Remember, this is the y-intercept. So we are familiar with the y-intercept. What's the meaning of the y-intercept? That's where the graph is going to intercept the y-axis, right? You're going to be at that point. Very good. So now, if I wanna graph this, so what's going to happen is, usually, all right, so this format is called the slope-intercept form, all right? So this is a different name. You remember last Monday we talked about the standard form, right? So this is a different form. This is the slope-intercept form. And the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus 2. So every time we change the form, we change the way to graph the line. Does that make sense? So the best way to graph it is to start with the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is obviously on the y-axis, and what is the y-intercept? 6. Very good. So it's plus 6. So I'm gonna go and place a point on 6. Suppose that is 6 for me, right? We good? And then what I'm gonna do from there? Remember, if this is 6, this must be 3, and those are small divisions, right? Okay, so those are the divisions there. So from there, I'm gonna need the second point to graph my line, right? And the second point, I'm gonna use the fact that the slope is called the rise over run, right? You remember that? We talk about this. So the rise, what is the rise there? Can you identify the rise? It's positive 3, and the run is 4, right? So always, whenever they are positive numbers, you keep the same direction. If there is a negative sign, you associate it to one of them and you make the opposite direction. Does that make sense? So luckily here, this is the simple example. So I'm going to follow the same steps. I'm going to go up and I'm going to go right with the corresponding values, right? So starting from 6, right? So I'm starting from the y-intercept. That's my point. I'm going to start going up 3 and 4 to the right. So up 3, 1, 2, and 3 up. And then I'm going to go 4 on the right. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So every arc is supposed to be a step, right? And then I end up with the second point over here. Everybody okay so far? And that's it, basically. What you want to do right now, you want to connect these 2 points together. Hopefully I don't miss them. So let's see again. There you go. That's the line that you are looking for, right? Are we okay, guys, with this? Everybody okay? All right. So for this question, as we mentioned earlier, what you want to do is you want to always solve. You want to always solve for the y. If they tell you the y-intercept form, all right, always you want to solve for y variable. What does mean solve for y variable? Means the y has to be positive y without any coefficient in the front. Make sense? And sadly here we have a coefficient -1 in there. Does make sense? So the easiest way is to multiply every term here, divide or multiply everything by -1, all right? So I'm going to multiply by -1. Are we okay? So whenever you multiply by -1, what's going to happen? You're going to turn all the variables to the opposite sign. So this one, it became plus y. This will become -5x. And this will become plus 2. Are we okay with this? So since our format is y equals to mx plus b, I can identify the m equals to -5 and the b equals to +2. So far, so good? Now, our issue with the m I need to make it as a fraction. Always, if you are missing a denominator, just put 1 on it. So your rise and run are identified over here. This is the rise and this is the run, right? So now let's get into the graphing part. So to graph it, I'm gonna identify first of all the y-intercept, which is +2. So let's say this is +2 for me. And then I need to rise with the -5. So what does mean? I'm rising with the -5 units. Instead of going up, I'm gonna go down 5 units. All right, that's the opposite direction, correct? So probably I exaggerated here, but anyway, so this is going 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So I am here right now. And then I'm gonna go to make a run of 1 unit, right? So I'm gonna do 1 jump on the right. Do you notice here the 1 is positive? Only the 5 is negative, right? So I associated only a negative sign to the 5. We good? So now I am done with my transformation. This is gonna be my second point. So I have 2 points. I can connect them together, and that's gonna be my line, all right? Yeah, I missed it a little bit, but anyway, so you get the idea. Everybody okay with this? Yes? Okay, so how do you proceed with this equation, guys? First of all, I need to identify my variables, my terms. So the terms, how do I identify them? By the bubbles, right? We are okay with this? Yes? The separator is the equal sign. That's the line where you're gonna cross. Every time you cross that line, the bubble you're gonna change. You change what? The sign. Are we okay with this? Now, you are interested on the bubble that has the y. Is it positive or negative? Negative, very good. So if the bubble having the y is negative, what you wanna do, you wanna move it to the other side then. Are we clear with this? Only if it is negative. If it is positive, I leave it there. Now, if I move it to the right side, I cannot have any other bubble next to it, which means the 4 has to go to the other side as well. So I am moving the y to the right, I'm moving the 4 to the left. Does make sense? So this is gonna allow me to do this. The 3x, I did not move it. You're gonna stay at the 3x. The 4, I move it. This is gonna become -4. Equal sign, the y's, I move them. Instead of -4y's, it became +4y's. So those are your bubbles. Do you see them after I move them around? Okay with this? Now I did my first objective. I get the y's positive. That's the first objective. The second objective is to get only the y's by themselves. And I notice here that next to the y, there is a 4. So what I do, I divide by that number. How do I divide? Every single bubble, I divide it by the same number, which is 4. The 4, by the way, that the green highlighted number next to the y, right? And then I simplify if I can. So 3/4, can I simplify it? No. Let's leave it 3/4x. 4/4, can I simplify it? Yes. What will become? -1. Very good. And here, 4 and 4 cancel each other out. What is left? Y. And I ended up with my objective, y equals. So whether I write it down y equals this way or y equals this way, is the same thing, by the way, right? Does it make sense? I read it right to left to right is the same way. So this is my equation. So far, so good. Can you identify the m right now? The m is the number next to the x. So your m is equal to 3 over 4. And that's going to be your rise. And this is going to be your run. And can I identify the b, which is the y-intercept? Yes. This is the -1, all right? So far, so good. Now, graphing time, what you're going to do? So I'm going to start as usual. Since this is the y-intercept form, all right? I'm going to start as usual with the y-intercept first, right? So the y-intercept is -1. So this is, let's say, this is the -1. This is the first point on the y-axis. And then how much I need to rise? The rise is 3 and the run is 4. So I'm going to start rising 1, 2, 3 up and running on the right 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's going to lead me to the second point, which is this one. Yes? Job all set. So I'm just going to connect these 2 points, and this is going to be your line that you're looking for. And that's the line that you're supposed to graph, right? By the way, I could have solved this one using the other method as well, the ax plus by, but the problem here, it will give me fractions. You notice the 4 is not a multiple of 3 and 4. So it wouldn't be as precise as this. This is the best way to graph. Okay, the way to do it is, since it says y equals to -1, just go to the y-axis and look for -1. What is it? And from there, what direction you're gonna be left for you to go? Should you go vertical or horizontal? Horizontal, obviously, right? Vertical will be the y-axis, right? So from that point, you're gonna go horizontal. And you're all set. Simple? Yeah. No? You don't like it? How are you gonna do this then? Same thing. What's it gonna be? Vertical, horizontal? Vertical. Very good. So this is gonna be since this is saying x equals to 5, you're gonna go and identify on the x-axis 5 of them. So from the 5 there, can you go vertical or horizontal? Horizontal doesn't make sense because if I go horizontal, where are you gonna go? You're gonna be the x-axis, right? Doesn't make any sense, right? So the only option left you're gonna be the vertical line. We good? Now, the question, we didn't answer the question. We grabbed them, that's great. The question is asking about the slope. So what is the slope on the first one? What is the slope on the second one? No slope? Yeah, probably I should tell you a little story over here, right? All right, so the little story works like this. If I am going upward here, if the line going this way, this direction, the slope is gonna be greater than 0. What does it mean greater than 0? Positive, right? I'm gaining height, right? Make sense? Always from left to right. Always from left to right. If I'm rising from left to right, it's gonna be always positive. So then there is another line going from this direction and this direction. I get back to it. It could be as well going down. So the up and down, they are the easiest one, right? So m is less than 0 here. What does mean less than 0? Negative. That means I'm going down. Can you associate up with positive and down with negative, right? Go left to right, up, positive, left to right, down, negative. We're okay? What's the number between up and positive and negative? 0. 0 is the number between positive and negative. Or you can, you are not gaining anything, right? M equals to 0 over here. So you are not gaining any height. You are gaining 0 height, if you want, or losing 0 height. Are we okay with this? So horizontal line is going to be 0. And that's the case over here, m equals to 0, right? Are we okay? Now, there is another scenario where the line is going vertical. So, what do you think? Can you walk vertically? Have you seen Spider-Man lately? Can you walk on the wall, like vertical wall? No, right? It's impossible, right? Unless you are Spider-Man. So this is M undefined. So can you identify impossible with undefined? Can you link them together? Yes. So make a walking guy. I was walking along that line. If it's impossible to walk along the line, that's gonna be undefined. And this is the scope where it's undefined. Yep. Whenever vertical line is always undefined. So by graphing it, actually is easier to identify whether the slope is 0 or undefined. Okay. So for A, we have two equations. The first equation is y equals -1 over 5x plus 1. And this is already on the format y equals mx plus b, right? So I can tell, I'm going to call m1, right? m1 here is going to be equals to -1 over 5. Everybody agree with this? That's the first slope. So now I'm moving to the second equation. Second equation is 2x plus 10y equals to 3. So my first objective is to draw my bubbles, 2x, 10y, and 3. So now, do you see the y's, the bubble of the y's, is it positive or negative? Positive. Every time the bubble of the y is positive, keep the y there and move everything else from the other side. Whenever I say move everything else to the other side, this is basically there are two rooms over here. Does it make sense? It means the y's has to stay in the room by itself. And they are separated by the equal sign, correct? So now what's going to happen then? The bubble of the 2x is going to go to the other side, and you're going to go there. The 10y is going to stay from the left side. 10y equals. The 2x, it became -2x. And the 3, I didn't move it, so it became +3, right? So far, so good? Now, what is the number next to the y? Is 10. So I'm going to divide every single term by 10. Now I can simplify this a little bit. So the y is going to be equals to -2 over 10 x plus 3 over 10. So I am interested, by the way, the m2 is this number next to the x, correct? Which is equal to -2 over 10. However, I need to simplify it. -2 over 10, I can divide both of them by 2, right? So whenever you simplify by 2, 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. And 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5. So this is the slope, the second slope, M2, right? So how do they look like, M2 and M1 for you? The same, right? So since they are the same, the two lines, L1, that's called L1 and L2. L1 is going to be parallel to L2. So this is your conclusion. The two lines are parallel. Okay, let's do B right now together, guys. So for B, I'm going to start with the first equation. So the first equation is L1, x plus y equals to 3. Again, I'm going to start with my bubbles. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. The y positive or negative here? Positive, right? So what do you want to do then? You want to move the x to the other side, correct? So this is going to stay the same. Y equals, the 3 I'm not moving, so it's going to be plus 3. And the x I'm going to move it, so it's going to be minus x. Do you notice here I put the minus x first because I want the x's and then the constant, right? Since it is a bubble, I can put it anywhere, right? Okay, so can you determine what the slope here? M1 is, what the number next to this? Nope, is 1, next to the x is 1. So m is equal to negative 1. M1 is negative 1. That's the first slope. All right, so for L2 here, the second line is minus x plus y equals to 4, correct? Again, I'm going to draw my bubbles. This is minus x, this is positive y, this is 4, right? So now, is it the y positive or negative? Positive. I want to keep it there then, right? And then I'm going to move the x's to this side. So what's it going to be here? It's going to be the y by itself. Minus x, it became positive x. And 4, it stays 4, right? So that's positive 4. So now, what's the number next to the x? If you don't see anything, that means positive 1, right? So M2, which is equal to positive 1. Are they equal? No, so they are not parallel. So now, if you are confused whether they are perpendicular or not, go to one of them and look for perpendicular. For example, this perpendicular of this one, you know what you're gonna do, right? You make it a fraction, 1 over 1, you flip it, it's gonna be 1 over 1, change the sign, it's gonna be plus 1 over 1, right? What is plus 1 over 1? Is 1. Is this the same thing as M2? Yes, right? It is the same thing as M2. So then your conclusion would be L1 and L2 are perpendicular. The two lines are perpendicular to each other. All right, so if you don't identify it right away is perpendicular, it's not really clear for you, look for perpendicular of one of them. And if it is matching the second one, then we're gonna say it's perpendicular, right? Okay, so here we are lucky because both of them, they have positive y's, right? Let's start with the first one, L1. We have 3x plus y equals to 5, right? The three bubbles are, what we're gonna do first? Move the terms next to the x. What are the terms next to the x? It happened to be the y, sorry. Move the term next to the y's. All right, what is the term next to the y's? Is the x, 3x, right? So move it to the other side. This will become y equals minus 3x, since it used to be positive 3x. And the 5, I didn't move it, so plus 5. Can you identify the M? -3. Very good. So M1 is equal to -3. Let's go to the second line, L2. We have 2x plus 3y equals 6. So here again, what are my three bubbles? We good? Now I always move the terms next to the y to the other side. So which one I'm going to be moving? 2x to the other side, and that's going to turn into -2x. Very good. So this is 3y equals to -2x plus 6. What is the term next to the y's? 3. Divide everything by 3. I am concerned only about this, by the way, right? So I'm concerned only about this number over here, right? I don't care about the rest. That's the number. So that's going to be your M2. M2 is going to be -2/3. Now, are they the same? This is the easiest part. Obviously not. All right. Suppose you are even confused about, oh, they are perpendicular or not. What is the perpendicular to the second one? It's going to be the flip in the fraction. It's going to be 3/2. And instead of negative, it's going to be positive, right? Is it the same at -3? No. So they are not perpendicular. They are not parallel. All right. L1 not parallel to L2. L1 not perpendicular to L2. And whenever we are in this case, we say neither cases, right? So because here the question was really specific. Do you want them parallel, perpendicular, or neither, right? So there are only 3 outcomes. If they are not parallel, they are not perpendicular, then the last outcome is going to be neither, right? Are we okay, guys, with this?